Impact segment tonight, a watchdog group called Judicial Watch has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the CIA, the Justice Department, and Treasury Department. Judicial Watch wants records pertaining to alleged wiretaps during the presidential campaign. Joining us now from Washington, the president of the group, Tom Fitton. Now, you've called this situation a, quote, scandal. Please define that for us.
Well, the scandal we all know about, and the only one of substance beyond the hacking of the Botthe emails directly, is the leaking of classified information, including the fact that there were wiretaps, and the results of those wiretaps. As you point out, the transcript of the phone call between General Flynn and the Russian ambassador. And we asked specifically for those types of records. We got the proverbial hand to the face, but we did get an interesting response from the National Security Agency, Bill, and it goes to the conversation you had with Senator Cotton. And the NSA told us they can't confirm or deny they have any records about that.
Why not? Why couldn't they confirm? Well, maybe they're not involved. Look, I don't know what Senator Cotton knows, but clearly he knows what agency tapped the Russian ambassador and General Flynn. He knows.
Well, the NSA is essentially telling us we can't tell you if we have them. We can't tell you if we don't have them, because to do so would tell you about our capabilities.
Yeah,
but it certainly is highly suggestive.
That's what they all do. Well, it's not the FBI. We can't comment on investigation. They all do that. I think that people need to understand that a Russian embassy is Russian territory. That's not America. Okay, so therefore that agencies like the CIA and the NSA, they can go in and they can tap, and they have been tapping for 50 years, all of these people. And people should know that, should know how this thing can be done. So there's a myriad of suspects here. Do you, through your investigation, have you narrowed it down on what you think happened? I don't want you to speculate. It's got to be based on information that you've accumulated.
And we just sued, so we're waiting to get responses back from the agencies. And it's going to be hard for them to say no. And the irony is that President Trump's appointees are the ones who are going to be figuring out how to respond to our litigation here. And it's frankly just the beginning, because there are other requests we have pending. We have well over a dozen requests under the Freedom of Information Act to get access. For instance, we want the transcript. If it's not classified, then release it. And if it is classified, potentially declassify it in part or in whole.
So you want to know what we're on the conversation.
Lots of opportunities for truth-telling.
Okay. But I want to know more importantly
we want to know
who
had access to this. We want to know who had access to this information.
Yeah, I want to know who leaked it. I want to know who put it out there.
That's exactly right.
So President Trump accuses President Obama of doing it, but there's no evidence to show. And President Obama is a pretty smart guy. I don't think he would, but his minions certainly could have. They tapped Angela Merkel of Germany. I mean, certainly. So how long do you think it's going to take for your crew to get cut through this bureaucratic fog and get these documents so we can figure out what happened?
I think we'll start getting responses from the government in months. And I think we'll get more direct responses than Congress. Remember, when Congress gets documents, they don't necessarily release them all. And when they give the documents to us, we get them out to the public. So it's important to know that there's this independent entity out there that's asking the questions, and we're not relying on the politicians to figure out what's up and what's down.
All right. Well, please let us know what you come up with, Mr. Fitton. We appreciate you appearing this evening. Directly ahead, the personal attacks on President Trump mounting. Do they mean anything, or are people numb? And later, Dana Perino on the new Republican health care proposal. Also, our Law and Order team on another shocking death allegedly caused by an alien criminal. The attacks on President Trump would ease up a bit because of the enough is enough component. But no.
Most of the people I speak with are transitioning from seeing this as the President of the United States to seeing this man as a circus clown.
What has he created? He's created nothing except chaos.
Donald Trump is destroying the credibility of the office of president 140 characters at a time.
Joining us now from Washington to analyze, Lisa Booth and Juan Williams. So I'm not getting this, Juan. What is the benefit of, a senator, a congressperson, and a former CIA guy who nobody knows who want to insult personally the President of the United States? What's the benefit of that?
Well, typically there's a great deal of deference given to the president, given all the pressures and responsibilities, and the fact that we want to revere our leader, our American president. I think in this case, though, Bill, some of this has to do with the history going back to Clinton and impeachment, Bush and weapons of mass destruction. And don't forget, Obama and his, where was he born, the birther movement, started by none other than Donald Trump. So I think a lot of people think they are punching back at Donald Trump.
Right, but is there any benefit? Is there any benefit for these people to spout this vitriol? What's the benefit?
Well, I think they feel that they are responding to someone who is insulting them.
In a personal way. Do you see any benefit, Lisa?
Well, I think for the members of Congress, it's to hunker down and placate the left, the liberal base. That's their audience in this effort to try to delegitimize Donald Trump.
So
and that's
you think that they're getting votes, they think they're getting votes by demeaning him personally? That's what
I think for some of these members, particularly someone like Nancy Pelosi, absolutely. I think she's placating, she's pandering to the left. She's pandering to the progressive base. But I think the problem here, Bill, is with the media and the sensationalized rhetoric and coverage that we've seen from the media, because I think that in their effort to try to discredit President Trump, they've discredited themselves. And I think John Dickerson, CBS's John Dickerson, was absolutely right when he said that the media didn't need Trump to discredit them. They did it themselves.
I agree with you. And what do you think about what I want? I think the media has damaged itself almost beyond repair with its obvious hatred of President Trump. There's a difference between issues and just trying to destroy somebody. So what do you think about Lisa's point that media has hurt itself?
No, I think if you look, I just look at the numbers. The ratings are up across the board for conservative and liberal outlets. Newspapers are selling more copies. People are very plugged into what's going on. I don't think it's fair to blame the press. And if you look at the polls, people don't have a high opinion of the press, so you can pick on them pretty easily. But the reality is here that Donald Trump sends out tweets. He knows how to get around the press anytime he likes. So I think a lot of this has to do with the character of the president. So you don't think the press has damaged itself, its credibility in this country by all this hate? You don't think so? Oh, look, Bill, I think it's a sewer, and you and I have had discussions about the internet and all that. But no, I think that a lot of these people, contrary to what Lisa said about Pelosi, this is not about getting votes at this point. I think there are a lot of people who feel like Donald Trump goes over the line.
And so they have to try to destroy him. All right, Lisa, last word.
Well, Bill, I think the irony of this is the entire Russia narrative that is being driven by the media without a shred of evidence that there was collusion or any influence over the election. The idea behind it is the concern of the driving of distrust in institutions. But we're doing a good enough job on its own when you've got the media driving narratives without a shred of evidence. You've got Democrats calling for the abolishment of the Electoral College or calling electors to defect. We're doing a good enough job on our own of building that distrust in various institutions.
Gotta go. Thank you, guys. Plenty more Heads of Factor moves along this evening. Is the Republican version of Obamacare good for you, the solid American citizen? Dana Perino has some thoughts. And more illegal alien criminal chaos. This time, a Los Angeles woman killed allegedly by a man deported 5 times. Hope you stay tuned for those reports.